Hello and welcome to All Irish Sport. I'm delighted to be joined on this Valentine's Day by none other than Leon's Jake O'Brien. Jake, how are you?
I'm good, yeah. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Oh, thanks for coming on. I suppose, look, we're going to kind of get a background for many fans who wouldn't know who you are, especially kind of before your big move and stuff like that. So kind of going to get an idea of kind of what's built you to be the player that you are today, kind of starting from your childhood, and we'll work our way down through your different clubs and so on. So I suppose we'll start off kind of with your childhood. And were you a very sporty kid? Were you a big kid? Because you're obviously quite a big man now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, no, I was a pretty sporty kid. Kind of played, I suppose, hurling, played the football, soccer, boxing. So yeah, I was training every day, playing every day, like a lot of kids would really at that age, kind of just mixing and matching. Um, no, just I suppose pretty ordinary childhood, just kind of always outside playing sports. Loved it really. As you said, I was a big kid. No, I was always kind of average to small kind of growing up. I was never big, no. But yeah, I was always kind of into all my sport and didn't take anything too serious. But I was very competitive in all of them.
And just tell me, obviously, growing up in Cork, there's so many talented people that come out of Cork and stuff like that. You've mentioned your multi sport. I think you did boxing as well for a while. Did you kind of were you going far in that? And when was kind of
Um,
the I suppose the focus just on football? What kind of age did that come at?
yeah, no, I suppose it was 9, 10. I kind of started up boxing just because I love watching the movies like the Rocky and just kind of love the whole thing around being a boxer and the professional boxing side of it. So yeah, I started at 9, 10 down at St. Coleman's in Shanagarry. So I was down there three times a week really, until I got more serious with it, sparring and training, and I kind of just loved the fitness side of it and the sparring with all the lads. Um, I think it kind of builds the confidence around when you're that age that you can stick up for yourself and the confidence that kind of you could bring that onto the field of say football, hurling, soccer, that you are a boxer, that you can handle yourself. Not that you'd have to, but just about having that confidence. So I done that until I was about 14, I suppose, and then I decided to concentrate on soccer.
Just you're talking about soccer there. Did you have a favorite player or an idol who you were kind of emulating, who you wanted to be as a kid playing football for any clubs or soccer, if you want to call it that?
Yeah, no, I'm saying soccer because obviously play Gaelic football too. I don't
Yeah,
want to mix the two up. No, growing up, I was obsessed with Cristiano Ronaldo. So I suppose I'd find myself inside every day watching videos of him taking free kicks, and then I'd be out in the garden putting up the my three wheelie bins and taking free kicks over, and just kind of obsessed really, just trying to copy the way he played. Which is obviously different to the way I am now, obviously, but I suppose growing up, I was a winger, attacker, midfielder, um, and I was just obsessed with him. Really, I wanted to always wear his boots, wanted to look like him. Um, I suppose yeah, I just watched all the videos of him when I was growing up, and I suppose where my main love for football came from when I was that young.
yeah. I think most kids at that age wanted to be like Ronaldo. I mean, I looked at your date of birth there earlier on. And I think you're 2001, so it kind of makes me feel quite old because I was at my second World Cup at that stage watching football because I started watching football in '98. So when I see 2001, I'm like, wow, I'm starting to feel quite old. But so you mentioned obviously Ronaldo. You mentioned about kind of you're different now. How did you move from a Cristiano Ronaldo wanting to be like that to being say a centre half, or was that a coach's choice?
Yeah, no, so I was a midfielder, striker until I was about. It was the All Ireland final for Cork Schoolboys League under the year 14 League Cup. It was under 13, I think. I was just by default, really, when the lads got injured in centre back, I was playing midfield and kind of just slotted for the final. And I suppose I had a good game. We won it that year, and I kind of stayed put since. Because I even at that age I wasn't physically built as a centre half. You look at me and say I'm a centre half, but I suppose yeah, just through default really, through an injury, and stayed put there ever since.
And just talk to me about kind of building from there. Obviously, you're focusing just on football at this stage, or soccer. Just for any of the GAA types that might be listening. So you're focusing on that then now. So where does it build up to Cork City? Who are you playing with as a kid to kind of bring you to that?
Yeah.
Or
So my local club growing up was Youghal United. So I loved it there. I really enjoyed going up training and playing matches with them. But then from I think it was 13, I moved to Lakewood Athletic in Cork. So I kind of moved up there with one of my friends, Tyreek Wright.
oh yeah,
I would have been great. I would have been great friends with him because of Cork School Boys League. So we played with each other that, and um,
and you would have been
I
teammates
suppose
then later on as Ireland under 21s as well, and probably
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of pushed me to move on from Youghal just because I loved it, but just the division we were in were really low, and I feel like all the other players in the Cork Boys League were playing in, I suppose, the Premier divisions, and I kind of wanted to play in amongst them every week. So I moved up to Cork City and kind of played with him for the 2 seasons. Before I done 6 months then in Corinthians, just shortly before I went to Cork City under 17. So that would have been the young stage at the time, under 17s. Before, yeah, I suppose moving into that setup and developing from there.
That's college Corinthians you would have went to before Cork. Yeah.
Yeah. For 6 months I was there, yeah, just before I went to under
I know
17s,
of
Cork
them
City.
because Megan Connolly played for them. Obviously the Irish international. I think they produced a few other decent
Yeah,
Cork
they would
players.
have. Adamida would have came through there. I suppose they're one of the main teams in Cork City. I suppose when it comes to developing players, they'd always be, I suppose, the big club in Cork City. So yeah, I mean, I was only there for a short while, but it was then that was right before I moved to Cork City.
Yeah. So talk to me about Cork City and building there your kind of career and I suppose establishing yourself and getting into the first team and that. So
Yeah, so
this
I
would have
went
been
through a
during the
whole.
COVID years, was it?
No, it would have been long before that, really. The under 17s. So kind of, I suppose they picked their field for the trials, kind of system of 35 players, and you narrow it down to whatever. So I done that in the trials for Cork City under 17. Ended up getting into it. Who was their manager? Brendan. Brendan would have been our manager. And then Liam Carney would have been kind of ruling over the whole academy at the time. So I trained under him for a good while, and I thought he was a really good coach as well in developing me as a player. And then kind of pushed on to the under 19s with Colin Healy. So that would have been a strong squad, Cork Senior 19 squad. You'd have Dale Holland, King Bargery. A lot of them will be playing in the League of Ireland system now. So I played there for about 2 years before kind of getting a sniff in with the first team, kind of through default again, I suppose, through injury. Up in Derry against Derry. We lost, but it was my debut, I suppose. So it was a proud moment. I kind of broke a small bit from there. Just kind of put my foot in the door, I suppose, with the first team.
Did it help? Sorry to cut you off, but did it help that you obviously had Colin there, at underage, and then
Yeah,
he knew you and trusted you?
yeah. No, I love Collins. Even to this time, was one of my favorite coaches. For developing me, he was very straight, but he was fair. With us, which I definitely needed at the time. So I really enjoy going to train every day, knowing, I mean, just one of the managers where you want to give your most for. So then when I kind of broke through to the first team, it was Neil Fenn was the manager. Before there was two or three managers, and then ended up being Colin Healy as the first team manager, who I kind of played under for a few matches before, I suppose, leaving for Crystal Palace.
And how is that? Because obviously, you've grown up in Youghal, but you'd have known about kind of the stature the club has held, Cork City, in Cork. I mean, there's a huge following. Probably, I'd say top two in terms of the following in the League of Ireland. And what was it like playing in front of, say, Turner's Cross and that? Was that intimidating in any way, or did you just kind of embrace it? Because obviously you're one of their own.
Because when I did break through, it was the COVID. It was kind of in the middle of COVID, so there was no fans.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Um,
So that's what I was saying
yeah,
earlier,
yeah.
but I got confused. Sorry. Okay, I get you
So
now.
yeah, I
Yeah.
would have broken there when there was no fans. But we were kind of in a relegation fight anyway. So then some fans, there was like say 500 fans left here, and then kind of went up and up and up. But obviously that was the year we got relegated with Cork City, so that wasn't a good time. But it was for me, it was good in the way I kind of broke through and kind of got my name out there. But I suppose not good for the club. And yeah, as you were saying, Cork City is a huge club in Ireland. I would have seen it at the time, and I still see it as one of the biggest in Ireland. Just not doing too well on the field, but as a club, it's definitely one of the best.
Yeah, and I think probably you toward just before you signed with Cork, you would have obviously seen them winning the league and being there around the top of the table with the likes of Sean Maguire as a striker, probably just a couple of years before that. So you obviously would have seen the
Yeah,
highs and unfortunately a bit of the lows as well, being part of that team.
yeah,
But kind of less on the negative side of things. On positive, you get scouted by Crystal Palace. How was that like? I know Stephen Rice was there, which obviously would have
yeah,
helped you. So kind of tell me about the interest
yeah.
and going there and
Um,
how that was.
as I said, it was kind of the second half of the season I broke into the squad. So I mean, as a young centre half in the league, I had a bit of interest from England, and it was always something I wanted to do was to move abroad to England and play there. So Pat, my agent, was just phoning up, talking to clubs, and whatever. When the end of the season came, I had a few, but he was talking to Palace, and they watched a few of my videos of me playing that season, and they invited me on trial. I was over there for 2 weeks, and I played two matches against Bromley and Luton, where I did okay. Um, and then they tried to sign me, I suppose, and I kind of went on with initial loan to buy deal, which is it's different as well to what anyone have, I suppose, the normal way of doing it. And then, yeah, I suppose I signed, but it was in the middle of COVID, obviously, to their academy.
And was that, I think during that loan period, you became captain of that side under Sean Derry and Stephen
Sean Day
Rice.
and Stephen, it would have been Stephen Rice, yeah. Yeah, after a few games, I kind of got the captaincy. I suppose just an Irish lad, a bit vocal, kind of, I suppose, demanding on the pitch, as opposed to a few of the English lads. I suppose I got promoted that year too to the because we were in Cat One, but there was two divisions at the time. I think it still is now, but yeah, we got promoted to the top division that year, so it was a good year. But it was all in the middle of COVID, which kind of put a damp on it, just because there wasn't much fans, or it was just, I suppose, different really.
It was limitations as well. Like you know,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
only allowed a
yeah,
certain amount in a stadium and so on. So even if you did have fans, it was very
yeah.
limited as well. I remember it being it just wasn't a really good time for football in general.
Yeah, even moving over there during the COVID times, it wasn't a great time either because nothing's open. I mean, I'm stuck in a digs after training, and it's just, I suppose, boring. Really, there's nothing open. You can't really meet people as such because you're new to the club. You don't really know players, and then there's nowhere to go because of COVID.
Hmm.
So I mean,
And you're not
I
allowed to
suppose
kind of
that.
mix with people because if you do and you catch
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
then it was
yeah,
similar to because Shane Duffy was living up in Scotland and he wasn't even allowed to kind of mix in with his teammates or anything like that. So it just became so hard to kind of adapt and like that. He was kind of left in the digs alone. But kind of it's funny that you say like you're vocal because like every time I've kind of come across you, I met you during the under 21s. You seem like a very kind of quiet lad. But obviously,
yeah,
once you cross the white line, that must change then.
yeah. I mean, I suppose two different personalities. Off the pitch, I'm soft spoken. I'm probably quiet, really, if I was talking to you. Then I suppose when I cross the line, it's a whole other me. I mean, demanding from players, and as a centre half, you have to demand around you because it makes my job easier. So yeah, two different personalities on and off the pitch. But for the good, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, look, most players they have a switch once they enter the pitch.
Yeah,
It's not a bad thing, not a bad thing at all. But so you're establishing yourself there at Crystal Palace. You sign permanently. You've captained, as we said already, the underage side. So things are going well on the pitch. I know maybe it might be a lonely time off the pitch, but then you move to Swindon again. You're kind of going a little bit out of the norm in terms of you're going somewhere where you don't know anybody. In terms of you know just even off the pitch, you might know maybe someone in the club, but you don't really know too many off the pitch or anything like that. You're going to another area where you don't know people. Do you find that difficult, or do you kind of just adapt to your surroundings quite quick?
For me personally, I don't. Yeah, I adapt to my surroundings. I mean, I do a lot of things on my own anyway. It doesn't bother me. I just feel like I was just about pushing myself out of my comfort zone. I'm not getting sucked into staying in the academy system because I mean I was coming from Cork City from a first team background and playing them few months in Palace was more about developing aspects of my game. So I don't want to get sucked into just staying in that environment and I suppose as I said, just staying in it. So I said, let's look at doing a loan. And then there was interest from Swindon came in January, and I jumped to it. I suppose it was a ball playing side in League Two, um, and yeah, it just said perfect fit for me, and I went there.
I think a lot of players kind of learn a lot from going down the leagues, and kind of you're seeing players who, kind of older players who are there and they're actually playing and to keep a side up or keeping a side in the division or pushing for promotion can almost be their ultimate goal in life because it can be the difference between a mortgage and some, or getting another contract and stuff like that. Obviously, you're there as a lone player, so you're
Yeah,
probably seeing this for the first time. But I'm speaking to a lot of players that have kind of gone in to clubs like that. They kind of mentioned that. I remember Darragh O'Shea had said it before. That I think he was at Exeter and he was seeing that.
yeah.
So it's just that kind of thing. It was that new to you, and how are you kind of looking at that?
Yeah, I mean, you see a whole different type of players, personalities, different, I suppose, older lads. Um, and just a different type of the way the football is played. Really, it's not all pretty developing kind of academy football. It's all there to be won. But I suppose I think I was at one of the best teams in League Two for players. I mean, at the time we had really good players. I was just unlucky not to get promoted that season. But no, I love my time in Swindon. Great club. The fans were great. Um, but again, it was a 6 months for me to develop in a different way, with first team environment, physically, and just to see that side of the football.
And how was it then going back to Palace? Obviously, you've got that bit of experience under your belt now. You've mentioned already there about the academy system and not kind of being stuck in it. So was your goal to go back there at Palace and try and get some minutes there if you could? Or was it like, okay, maybe I've gotten experience at that level, maybe I can move up a level? What was going through your head at the time? So that's coming into the summer then, I suspect.
Yeah, yeah. I've always been someone that's kind of impatient in wanting to go up the leagues and play at the highest level. So when I got back, I mean, I didn't think in my head I knew I didn't have the best time in Swindon in terms of playing because I mean after my first game I was injured and getting COVID and a few things just dampened it in them 6 months and I don't think I got the highest out of what I could have. So when I came out, I went on pre-season with Palace. It was more of a I knew deep down, even if I had a good preseason, are they going to keep a player that was playing in League Two to going straight into playing Premier League? Probably not. Even as much as you think you can play and help the team, it's just there's a lot of factors into it, into playing in the Premier League side. And I suppose when the interest came about going to Belgium, it was something different. I was very open minded about it, but then very wary of it because I was like, will this push my career forward or can I put a stint in this? So I went over to have a look at the facilities, the area, just the club, and have a chat with the manager. And I thought, yeah, it's something I want to do. If I have a good year, 6 months here, I could definitely push things along. And yeah, I suppose I love my time in Molenbeek. It was probably the thing that kind of pushed me to where I am now.
Yeah, because I think you played 20 times. You got two goals, one assist. I did a feature on you there the other day, but I was looking at your stats. They were quite impressive. And obviously then you get the promotion, which definitely would have kind of brought along your kind of stature within the club. And I'd say Palace then were kind of looking at you in that sense, going, okay, he's really making a difference at this club. And again, I have to say fair play to you in many ways because of the kind of route you've gone. You've gone a totally different route to most players. A lot of players, I would say, like it kind of cozy and like it kind of comfy, and you don't seem to be happy to just settle for that. Like you seem to be really kind of weary of, this is your career. It's a short career, and you want to make the most of it.
Yeah, because I mean, I was a late developer, so I wouldn't have had going on loan at 18, 17 to kind of have a bit of time to get up the ranks. So kind of, I was late developing, so I was thinking, what's the fastest way I can get to the highest levels, but by doing it right and fair. I think when I moved to Molenbeek, a lot of people underestimated the league, the club, and kind of just pushed me aside when I went there and thought, okay, he's not going to a big club, big league, so he's kind of just going to fall off. But it's probably the best for me because it put me out of the light of the media, everyone talking, so I just worked hard, and after a few months, then people started to talk. Um, I suppose here I am now. It was a good year.
I think as well you're starting to see some Irish players moving there now. Jonathan
Yeah,
Afolabi signed from Bowes to KV Kortrijk, and then you've got Teo Adaramola. He would have played with you probably at Palace
yeah,
in
yeah,
your
yeah.
age,
Yeah.
and he's gone to what club's he
Kind
gone
of
to?
same club.
Oh,
Yeah,
Molenbeek.
Molenbeek
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
is the same club. Yeah, yeah,
Is it Molenbeek? Sorry, not Molenbeek. I'm saying it wrong.
yeah. So it's RWD, so Racing White Darling, Molenbeek, um,
I just want to be able to pronounce it right. That's all.
or
I think it's spread.
Molenbeek. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah,
Okay, and yeah, so I think maybe was that based off because of the move that you went there, or did Palace have some sort of connection with that club?
yeah, yeah. So the owner of Palace and Molenbeek and Leon, he owns all the clubs. So there would have been that connection of
Oh, okay.
he wanted me to go there and kind of help them get promoted at the time. So kind of took a few conversations and I went there. And we kind of just built a good team and good connection, good manager, and yeah, it was a good season of getting promoted. Really ups and downs, but definitely a good season for developing.
But you also had a good season in terms of the Ireland under 21 setup as well. I mean,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
were a mainstay
yeah,
in that team as well under Jim, and you were playing some with some really talented footballers. But that must give you a lot of kind of excitement because you see the pathway that's there. I think Evan would have been in there around the same time as you. You got Will Smallbone
yeah,
as well, who have kind of climbed up the Sinclair Armstrong as well most recently. Getting a call up
yeah.
as well for the 21. So, what was it like, with them, and how do you kind of see the future Ireland group coming through now?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a really talented group of players. Unfortunate, obviously, to not make the Euros that year. It's devastating, but yeah, as I said, it was a great group of players. And I suppose it's not surprising that a few of them are after making into the first team setup, and there'll be no doubt a few other players that will make the jump.
Yeah, you got Festi as well, who's obviously playing Serie A,
Yeah, yeah,
and he's kind of getting into the Irish setup towards the back end of Stephen Kenny's reign. But yeah, I suppose going back to Palace from Molenbeek or Molenbeek, from getting promoted there, you must have been on such a high. Getting the promotion, getting a taste of kind of feeling what winning was like at the professional level as
yeah,
well.
yeah. No, definitely. We won a lot. We're kind of fighting the whole season with another team, SK Beveren. But to get it over the line in the end was relieving, and it was great, really. I think the league is a great league for kind of getting your name out there because it's a league central to Europe, so you have a lot of people coming to watch the games, different clubs. So you have a good season in Belgium, and there's a lot of scouts and different clubs watching you, so it kind of puts your name on the map. So that was great. When I went back to Palace, we had confidence going back there, and knowing I had a good season. I went down pre-season to the US, had my few games, and we had a few conversations. But obviously I was talking to other clubs. I just felt it was best for me to move on just personally because I just felt it was for me to push forward in my career. I wanted to move somewhere else.
And how did I know you mentioned that the owner is of Leon is obviously the owner of Palace and Molenbeek, but
Yeah,
how did the conversation come up then to leave Crystal Palace to go there? And as I said, you were talking to other clubs, but surely when you hear the name Leon, you're thinking,
yeah,
that's huge because you think of some of the players that have played there over the years, like you'd been Benzema, Talisha, who you're now playing with now, who went to Bayern Munich at the time, and Lacazette came through there as
yeah,
well. And those brilliant players, Janino. I'm not going to attempt to say his last name, but he used to score all sorts of insane free kicks.
yeah,
I mean, yeah. So thinking
yeah.
of
Yeah, no, it's definitely exciting when the conversation came about to go to Leon. Obviously, there's conversations have been had at Palace to extend and sign a new contract, but I just thought it was a club for me that didn't want to play their youth, and I didn't see myself playing there in the near future. So I thought I'm not going to stay and just hopefully get a chance here, or maybe not. So I was like, I'm take my chance and go to Leon. Obviously, a load of big players there as well. Um, but I definitely felt I was confident going there, knowing it was fresh start. And I suppose I went there at the end of the summer, had my few weeks there, and I suppose haven't looked back really.
yeah. I remember getting the announcement, and I just gone wow, like because you often see that kit, the Leon, the white kit with the Fly Emirates.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's really unique in terms of how it looks, and it's a gorgeous jersey.
yeah. No, beautiful kit to be fair.
Yeah, but they're always very similar every season. So and then when
Yeah,
you see O'Brien, it's not as an Irish name, you
yeah.
wouldn't
It's
really
just
see.
yeah, yeah. No, it's I suppose a big Irish name, big Irish head playing in the French league. I suppose it was kind of when I signed, a lot of French were like, "Who's this Irish guy?" I suppose, and I didn't take offense to it really. I probably would have been the same. Um, it was funny seeing me sign there at the start because it's not the norm. Um, but no, it's been great. Huge club, and everyone there at the club is top as well. So definitely love it here.
Yeah, because it reminded me kind of a little bit like when Matt Doherty signed for Atletico, and it was kind of a
Yeah,
bit
yeah,
kind of a bit of a shock,
yeah,
but obviously delighted. And I said to you off air, Irish fans seem to kind of go crazy for any sort of Irish players moving to any sort of different country, to England, and Troy's in Holland, and you've got other players kind of playing abroad. You've Liam Kerrigan, who's kind of in your stable of players with Coram, who's in Italy, and when you see all these players playing in different countries, it's starting to give Irish fans a bit of hope that players can go down different routes and stuff like that. But what would you have any advice to kind of younger players? Obviously, the route you've gone through is different, but if someone
yeah,
was kind of thinking of going a different route to you, because you've gone League of Ireland, you've gone underage academy in England, you've gone out to actually play lower leagues in England, men's football, and then you've come back. Yeah, you've gone to Belgium, and then you've gone to League On.
yeah. So it's obviously not your normal, but I suppose it depends on the person, the player, what they're comfortable with. But I suppose it's not. Don't just be in your comfort zone. The whole time, always push for new things. You never know what's on the other side of it. You have a good season here or there. Um, but then again, yeah, I suppose it comes down to the person. At the same time, you don't want to be homesick going somewhere, but at the same time, you never know. You never know. Something different, different opportunities come about. Um, and for me, I was just open minded with the whole thing and trying to reach the top level as fast as I could, in whatever way that was. So yeah, no regrets for me.
Brilliant. And just tell me about I suppose, just adapting to France. Can you speak French? Are you learning it at the moment?
Yeah, no, I'm learning it. To be fair, I haven't done it in the last 2 or 3 weeks just because we've been busy with matches and training and been tired. That's what I'm saying anyway. But no, I understand a lot of it because it's the main language, obviously being spoken here. I wouldn't say I'm great speaking it, but I'd know the basics that'll get me through the day. Um, but a lot of lads here speak English, so communicating is not a problem. Um, yeah, no, I'm learning it, but it's obviously difficult, very difficult because they speak very fast. But when they slow it down, or this coach is speaking about tactics, I can understand it. Well, it's okay.
Obviously, I've seen like some of the players that you guys have signed out, recently, and obviously who's already there. I mean, you've got Alexander Lacazette, who's obviously played in England with Arsenal. I
Yeah,
imagine his English is quite good. He looks like he understands what you're saying in some of the pictures that I've seen of you
yeah, no,
celebrating
he
goals.
speaks. Yeah, no, he can speak perfect English. He's been at Arsenal for years, so yeah, no problem speaking with him. Just like Lovren playing for
Yeah, Liverpool.
Liverpool, a lot of the lads that have played in England can speak fluent English, just as good as their French, really. The only lad that probably wouldn't speak English is maybe the lads that come through the academy that have only just spent their time in France. But there's definitely ways of communicating. Uh, it's definitely gotten easier, I suppose, in the last few months because it's become a more multicultural squad than it probably would have been.
Yeah, I just want to touch on some of the players that you're obviously playing with now because they have some of the unbelievable careers. I mean, you look at Nemanja Matic, what he would have won and who he would have played for. He played for Chelsea when they were unbelievable. Man United, he played for them at a very good time as well. You have Lacazette, who obviously was a big player at Arsenal. You have Ben Rama, just signed from West Ham, who I think is a very good player. Then you got Tolisso, who played at Bayern Munich as well. I mean, you're some really top level players, and I know you got some young players coming through as well who are French. I think Cherky and Kakare. Is that how you say it, Kakare?
Yeah, Kakarot, yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
So you've got so many, good players. I know, look, the league table hasn't been that kind to you as maybe results, but it looks as though things are kind of turning in that regard. Hopefully that remains the case. But what's it been like for them? Has there been anyone who kind of took you under their wing since you've been there?
Yeah, I mean it's a squad where training them every day is great because you're learning from the best really, and I've played at the best level. Every day is high demands, so you're always going to be better. So I suppose I've done it even a lot in the last 6 months just because I'm playing with some of the best players, and the standards are really high. So there's no room for having a day off or because they'll let you know. Um, as you said, yeah, there's some big players in my position. There would have been Dan Lovren, Liverpool, so you can learn from him. On my left, I have Nico Tagliafico, who World Cup winner. Learn from him. In front of me, you've Tolisso, as you said, and then up top, Lacazette. And then you've obviously up and coming stars as well, like Shirky.
Yeah, because like Leon are always producing, great players. Nabil Fekir as well. I know he's at Betis now, but he came through there. Benzema, who obviously came there before he
Yeah,
moved to Real Madrid. So they're synonymous for producing world class talent, and France seems to be just a hotbed of world class talent. I mean, you've got Mbappe in the league, who's arguably the best player in the world. Um, you came up against Aubameyang, and just something I kind of wanted to ask you about is because you were just talking to me there of kind of you're coming through Cork City during the COVID years, and you kind of think back to, I think, didn't Arsenal win the FA Cup during COVID? And Aubameyang scored the goal.
yeah,
I think he might have been playing up front with Lacazette at the time, so it's just a kind of full
yeah,
circle moment there. I saw you play him against him a couple of weeks ago, against Marseille, and he's bet them. I think he kept a clean sheet as well.
yeah. Yeah, no. So I suppose the last couple of weeks, I have come up against some of the best strikers in the league, with Aubameyang, Jonathan David. They're all different types of players, and it's good to play against them because different types of players, and learning from the way they play and how to defend against them. Um, Different team systems, like Lille and Marseille. Obviously, playing against Marseille is different because it's like a war zone, really. If anything, that's the only way to describe it. The fans, um, but it's a great experience playing in them types of games at a young age, because you can learn from it, and just kind of gain confidence from it, I suppose. But no, it's playing against them. I suppose I wouldn't be the person. I'm never the person to kind of be in awe when I meet someone. I'm very relaxed. especially when they're against me. I don't like to be in all because I mean up against them, so I want to stop them from scoring. Um, but yeah, no, it is good to play against some of the best players, I suppose you can say, in the world.
And how's that switch coming from nice guy off the pitch to switching on to there? Because obviously it's a different language, and you know, you might be screaming in English, or maybe it's French. I don't know.
Yeah, no, well, obviously I scream in English. I mean, it's pretty basic English too, just left, right, and I suppose you can only have conversations with people up close about what to do, what not to do. But I mean, all the lads would know what's their jobs in the field. It's kind of just the basic constructive criticism, really. I mean, you can shout at me as well. Um, but I mean, you'd know if it's good or bad in the way people scream um, on the pitch. So, well, it's just, I suppose it's international language. I suppose football language, and everyone kind of understands each other on the pitch. Um, but everyone knows their job going onto the pitch as well.
And who's been, I suppose, the toughest opponents that you've kind of come up against? You mentioned obviously Aubameyang and Jonathan David. Is there anyone who maybe even surprised you?
Uh, yeah, I suppose I would say two of them were kind of probably the most difficult, and they're two different types of players. Jonathan David is someone who would make smart runs in between defenders and drop deep and kind of play with the ball, whereas Aubameyang's always looking to get in behind with his pace. So it's about how to deal with two of them types of players. And then I suppose the players that have surprised me, probably my most recent game, Adopt. I think he's a very physical player that I was looking to get in behind too. So it's just about um, being concentrated and focused throughout the whole game because he will run in behind and he's a physical player.
Is this for Montpellier?
Um, yeah, yeah, no, he's fast and physical. I thought he was a good player. Obviously, he hasn't scored in a few games, but I mean, no, he was a great player.
And do you relish coming up? I think you have a game against PSG soon enough. Do you relish the opportunity of coming up against these world class players to test yourself, to kind of see,
Yeah,
how
yeah,
far you've came along as well? Obviously, it's you're
yeah,
you're there on merit because you're in the team and stuff like that. But I just mean,
yeah,
kind of looking at it as an overall, you must be like, as I said, you kind of came full circle there. The FA Cup during COVID, you're kind of moving up. He's won the FA Cup for Arsenal, and then here you are playing against them. I think 4 years later.
yeah. No, you definitely do relish the moments playing against, I suppose, the likes of PSG. I haven't played against them yet, but I mean, I look forward to playing against them in Paris. I think it's in April. I suppose, yeah, just playing against the big teams that you see on TV is great, and just testing yourself against them types of players. Um, but I mean, it's no problem. I think the more you play, I suppose, the more confidence you gain and experience you gain in playing them games. And it's just not, I wouldn't say become comfortable because you can never be too comfortable, but I suppose it's just about learning the little bits and being focused throughout the whole game.
Yeah, just from home, you mentioned the games are on TV. Obviously, it's on TNT Sports here.
Yeah.
Do you get a lot of support from back home? People texting you saying, "I was watching you here, there." No, that must be cool as well.
Yeah, yeah, no, all my family watch all the games, even the pubs back in Youghal, which run on all the Leon matches because, as you said, they're very accessible on TNT Sports. So I mean, it's not a pub you'd walk in and watch and be watching the Premier League games. A lot of them in Youghal are watching League One games, which is it's funny. But I mean, everyone back in Youghal is very supporting. You see a lot of the kids even now wearing Leon jerseys. Um,
Class.
which is yeah, no, it's class to look at even over Christmas, and you're seeing people get Leon jerseys for Christmas, and no, it's proud seeing that. Um, Kids look up to me, but I mean, there's still stages I want to get to that I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, and I imagine at Leon as a club, that's kind of something I wanted to ask you. It was kind of, over the next couple of years, what's your kind of goals with Leon? Is it to try and get them back to where I think they belong, is up near the top end of
Yeah,
the table?
I think for now, yeah, I'm definitely just focused on getting the club up the table for now, because it's a huge club, one of the biggest in France, and I don't think it deserves to be where it is. Even a lot of the games we've lost or draw, we deserve to win. And with the players we have in the squad, we should be in the top definitely the top six at least, and playing in Europe, because the fans are great here. The numbers that they give at matches, the stadium. It's a Champions League. It's a Champions League team, like, so. Just getting back to that level, and then competing at that level.
Yeah, because when I grew up, it was just Lyon winning the league year in, year out, and they were doing well in the Champions League. So for me, it's most Lyon fans is probably all they've ever known up until recently. Obviously with PSG and stuff like that coming in and kind of taking over the money and stuff. But just last thing I just want to talk to you about is potentially if things keep going the way they're going with yourself. There's a lot of fixtures for the Irish national team coming up over the course of the year before kind of things get competitive, I think around next September. There's a lot of ties there, obviously England and stuff like that next September, but there's a lot of friendly games coming up, and we know there's no manager in place just yet, but do you feel like if you can keep up your performances that maybe you could get a call up, and I'd imagine that would be a huge goal of yours down the line?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a dream of mine to play for the national team. And I suppose at the moment I am playing in one of the top leagues consistently, so I think I'd like to at least be considered in it. But then again, there's no manager yet, so it's hard to look too close into it. But no, definitely would like to be considered in amongst it. Obviously, it's tough in my position because we do have a lot of good players who are kind of strongest in that position. But I am playing at one of the highest levels consistently, so I mean, why not? I suppose we'll see when the time March comes or whatever games come up. It'll definitely be a dream of mine to put on the jersey.
Well, I do think as well, you're obviously coming up against international level players week in, week out. You're playing with international level players, and you're playing with Champions League winners and Premier League winners, Bundesliga winners, and so on, and World Cup winners, as you said. So you're kind of getting a lot of experience there, but you're also kind of coming up against some of the best in the world there. And no doubt, obviously between now and March, if you can stay injury free and so on, I definitely think that you should be definitely considered. Especially it's the fact that there's friendlies and stuff coming up, but obviously look, that's for a manager that's going to come into place, and neither you or I can affect that. But I would say you're definitely, the way you've been going about this season, you're definitely in a good position to be at least having people talking about you, which is always a good sign.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I just focus on, I suppose, playing on the pitch, and then things off the pitch will take care of themselves. So hopefully when the time comes, I hear something, but if not, I'll just keep continuing to work hard and go from there.
I think what's good though is that the fact that you've played with so many of the lads, so you kind of know, that there is a pathway there. That if you do keep working hard, that eventually your time will come and you will get an opportunity. And as you've previously done in your career, you seem to take your moments. You don't seem to dwell on them. You seem to get in, take your moment, and kind of progress. And that seems to be why you are where you are today.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of lads that have played with have gotten their chance. I suppose even in Stephen Kenny's time, he's given a lot of debuts. So hopefully the next manager will do the same and give people chances. And I suppose I'll just continue to focus on my game on the pitch, and hopefully things will take off.
Yeah, well, listen, I just want to say thanks very much for your time. It's been brilliant chatting to you, and kind of getting an insight into you and I suppose your backstory and kind of what kind of your mentality is to get you to where you are today. So anyone who's watching, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, don't forget to like the video, and if you're not following Jake, you can follow him on all platforms. I think it's _O'Brien Jake, is that right?
I think so.
He won't be hard to find. You'll see him there in a Lyon jersey and his red hair.
He's a redhead, yeah.
You'll definitely find him. But yeah, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and let us know your thoughts in the comments.